You're watching the Fayetteville Government Channel. Up next, full coverage of the latest meeting of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. The Parks and Recreation Advisory Board is composed of citizen volunteers and meets on the first Monday of each month. The board advises the City Council and city staff on issues that affect the city's parks and recreational programs. And now, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
January 13th, 2014, Parks and Recs Advisory Board meeting. I'd like to welcome our new members to the Advisory Board, Terry Lawson, Wade Caldwell, and David Priest. Welcome back, Wade. It's been a little while. I guess the first thing after that is going to be election of officers. Do we have any nominations for chairman? Or anyone who would like to be chairman? I nominate Philip Watson. Second. Okay. I guess I can accept the nomination. However, I wasn't sure if Wade was interested in stepping back into that position.
I just got back.
Wishful thinking, I suppose. Okay, I accept the nomination, which leaves us to the vice chair person. Is there any nominations for vice chair?
Nominate John Paul.
I'll second it.
It's just trouble. Just asking for it. All right.
Okay, well, I guess if there's no other nominations, do we need to vote on that, or?
Yes.
We do need to vote on. All right, for the position of chairperson, all in favor of me being the chair, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
That's all I
For vice chair, for Mr. Paul over here, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Yeah, you did.
All right.
All right, moving on, we have the Golden Acorn Award for Connie Edmondson, the Parks and Rec Director. Fayetteville Natural Heritage Association presented the Golden Acorn Award to Fayetteville Parks and Rec team, which includes Parks and Rec Advisory Board and UFAB. I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, what's UFAB?
Urban Forestry Advisory Board.
Okay. Flag states the following for your outstanding contribution to making our public natural areas accessible to all, improving the ecological value of what we have, engaging community members of all ages to experience our natural heritage, and working to create Fayetteville's enduring green work.
So that's the front, FNHA?
Yes.
That's an award that they give out?
They give out every year, so we're very honored to receive that. And part of you all will have it at our office for you.
Okay.
But it's including the good work that you all do for Parks and Recreation within our city. So.
Well, that's outstanding.
That's pretty special coming from a non-profit group.
Yeah.
Back to the city.
City.
To the city, come on now.
We feel very honored.
I expect that.
All right, well, next on the agenda is approval of December 2nd meeting minutes. Anyone might have any changes or has read through and have any issues? Take a motion if someone would like to make this to accept the meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay. And let's see, next we have a parkland dedication.
Okay, we have several tonight. The first one is called Chateau Springs, and the developer on it, or engineer on it, is Blue Associates. We do have a representative here in Blue if you guys have specific questions about the development. The owner is Steelhog LLC. It's north of Mitchell Street and MLK, and just east of Stang. This little lip right here. They are proposing 10 multifamily units on just over an acre. Their land dedication requirement would be 0.14 acres, or the money in lieu is $5,600. We do have several parks in the area. Go back to this one. We have the village at Shiloh Parkland, Hop Park, Oak Ridge Trail, Town Ridge Trail, and Finger Park, all within the mile service area. They're requesting to dedicate money in lieu, and staff is also recommending money in lieu.
We're gonna lose the house with all the hog paraphernalia on it now, is that what it is? Across from Remy?
No, I think that house is staying. I think you know what we're talking about, though. I think it's right next door.
Scared.
No issues?
I don't see it. I mean, that you got 3 parks, I'm sure you got 3 parks right there.
Entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion to accept, and a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? And move on to the next one, or is?
Hey, Wade, you might have noticed that we increased the radius from a half mile to a 1 mile radius of
No, I
the
hadn't.
park.
So it's not a mile?
Yeah, it's 1 mile. Ready?
Yep,
Okay.
ready for the next one.
Next one is Beechwood East. Jorgensen and Associates are the engineers on this one. Also have representatives here with them if you have questions. The owner is Specialized Real Estate Group. The development is actually right next door to one you guys saw maybe last year or the year before off of Beechwood, south of MLK, east of Beechwood. They're proposing around 170 multifamily units. That number might fluctuate a little bit. They're still kind of working out the details of their design. And it's about 16 acres in size. Their land dedication would be 2.4 acres, or money in lieu would be $95,200. That's based on the 170. If that adjusts, then the money in the land dedication would adjust with it. We do have Solid Beach Trail, Hill Place, Parkland, and World Peace Wetland Prairie in that service area. They're requesting to dedicate money in lieu, and staff is also recommending money in lieu. There is a trail corridor that goes through this development, and Matt Mahovich has been working with them on that alignment, and we have a very preliminary alignment here. Definitely needed to connect east-west through the site over to Razorback Road. Jorgensen's working on a modified alignment with Matt to get that detail worked out.
Yes, correct.
Are they gonna pay for the trail, for the service?
We're still looking at that. That'll be a planning commission determination. Basically, it has to meet a rational nexus, which I believe it will. We'll make sure that the owner's okay with that as well.
You said like on the domain, we just dedicated the easement and the city built the trail. But
So that may be how it goes.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly everything that went down on that for the domain, because typically the way that the ordinance reads, the planning commission can determine that, and it's based on how many units there
Right.
are. And, you know, that's a lot of units. It is an on-site improvement, so if you look at trip generations and things like that, like
Right.
you would for a street, even though it's a trail, it's just, we still expect it would generate a lot of activity. So, you know, if it's not too big of a deal, we might look at actually building it. The timing of the construction, you know, it's a challenge,
yeah.
as it was with the domain. It's a lot cleaner if we can just have it be part of the project.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, I know there is a cost there, so.
Are those the warehouses, just south of MLK? Where the, how far away is that, the last one? Is the domain the last one that was real close to that?
You go back to the domain is, that's the existing building. The trail goes down the middle of it and turns and comes up here. And that was kind of the old alignment. And this one, we've got a couple variations we're working with Matt on, but our idea was to have well, we're gonna work with them, but we're gonna have this basically green beltway going down the center of the development. We're gonna have it come down and turn into the head of that, but with this connection point being part of, I mean, there's some geometric designs that how department's gonna require this, I guess, to move south, maybe not right there, that we're gonna try to make that point work out between, us and that and everyone.
What we're looking at trying to do is a signalized crossing for Razorback Road for the trail, and they require, it is an HCD road, it's a state highway, they require a 100-foot separation from any other street. So there is a street just below Chick-fil-A, just to the south.
Is that the Chick-fil-A parking lot? right
Yes,
there?
you're seeing
Oh,
it in the
okay,
very
okay.
corner there.
So Matt, we're talking about going further away from the intersection.
To get that adequate
So we don't have to do
separation.
the U?
Yeah, and originally, I had the trail plan to come up and cross at MLK at the light, which was not a very good situation for anybody on that.
Because we were talking about people darting.
So busy. Worried a lot about people darting here. We can't actually put a crosswalk or any signalization there because it's too close to MLK. So I think, we were talking about having barriers. As you know, we talked about it at the Transportation Committee. That was a concern. So this is going to alleviate that issue because the trail won't be on the other side in this scenario. We come down this side of Razorback where there's already a 10-foot wide. I was looking at maybe making it a little wider because we get so much game day traffic there. And then come down here where there's actually already a separated grass median in Razorback Road. And that creates a little refuge island where you can get halfway and stop. But also we'd be looking at putting a signalize there, which would be pedestrian hybrid beacon like what we're doing on South School, like tire tracks that's going there.
Is there like a multi-family development that's happening right there somewhere?
This one right here? Yeah, that is owned by Mr. Hoskins, and Casey Hoskins, and he has a rezoning coming through right now. It's been tabled, but I've talked to several people that are interested in that project as well. So something that would be student housing type.
So is this proposal of your trail here, is that contingent on this Mr. Hoskins doing his, is that going through his?
Yeah, I mean, it does go through, and it looks like it kind of bisects, which is a concern. But if somebody buys it, that's like this current owner, they see it as an amenity that coming through that project can really be an amenity to a student housing type project. So that's what we're hoping on. If that fails, if there's just no way we can work something out, we're looking at possibly following this railroad corridor down, and then maybe just cutting the tip of that somewhere else that's not really bisecting that property as much. And we could still drop down. But, I don't like going out of the way a little bit to get back up north, so I'm hoping that we can work that out. We are kind of waiting on this section, just watching the development patterns and, the construction of this timing. So we'll have the Chalegui Trail from here back to Frisco Trail this year, but this piece we're going to kind of watch. With this big a development, it's smart to watch what's going on and see what we can do, especially with great developers that we've had that have been so supportive, and consultants.
So is this going to be a combination of parkland dedication for that trail that goes across that property and money in lieu of for the remaining amount of land, or is it just only money in lieu of?
Just money in lieu, and then they'll dedicate an easement with the development of the project.
It works cleaner than trying to dedicate property, because if we do the parkland dedication way, it becomes deeded property, and it's kind of a weird strip through a project. It can mess with setbacks and different things. So a lot, we do easements with trails most of the time. I think it just works cleaner for everybody.
Yeah, I like that.
That's how we did it on the domain. So.
Yeah. You got the funky strip of land out of Mountain Ranch.
Yeah, Mountain Ranch, and then Hill Place is that way too.
Yeah.
They have that funky strip, and then some of the trail wasn't even built in it, so.
What we're trying to do on Beechwood is they're gonna do, on-street parking on the east side and then put islands in, like where the trail crosses to kind of neck down the traffic for traffic calming. We can't really put in any type of signalization, just yet, but, that's our preliminary measure to try to help with crossing. Of course, we'll give it to you and.
Yeah, I like that, pinch that down.
Yeah.
Make those crosswalks shorter.
Then I have a question about the eye-shaped area that's in Mr. Hoskins' property right there.
Right here, yeah.
That, if I recall, is, for lack of a better term, a swamp.
Yeah.
Does that cause you any concerns for the trail there?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of looked at it, there's also some swampy area right in here, so, I mean, it's best if we could stay north of that. And again, we'll have to look at the project. I don't think it's designated wetland, from what I'm understanding, but, still difficult construction. it happened from what I'm told is when they built the road, it just kind of blocked the water up, so it's not like a really natural type wetland.
Like a dam.
Yeah, it kind of dammed it up, but, still some issues there. So, yeah, ideally, like I said, show it up north, I'm missing all that. But again, we're just gonna have to work with that developer and see how we can make that work, just like we're doing here.
It'd be very difficult to develop that little pie shape anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, It's such a big deal. Yeah, you never know.
The swamp people do it.
Swamp people, yeah. But, we can make trails work through some of the swampy area, and like some rock under it and different things, drainage techniques. Yeah, we're excited to see this trail is gonna be a great connection for all of that new housing that's happening down through there. It'll tie right into the new Frisco Trail extension under MLK to the whole system of trails, so. The construction's going well on that, except for the weather's kind of slowed it down. I don't know if you guys want like a little trail update or. Okay. I sometimes do, but okay.
I'll make a motion to accept staff recommendation of money in lieu.
Second. Okay, let's go ahead and vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. And moving on to the next parkland dedication. Corey, Terrace Cummings. Seems like we've come across this one before,
Yes.
a couple times.
Couple times.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes, it's currently being developed by Ross Coleman, and there's a representative of Ross Coleman here tonight if you guys have questions. It's north of Highway 16 East and just west of Lake Sequoia. They're proposing 115 single-family homes. The site plan hasn't really changed since the last time it was through. The project was originally reviewed in 2005. At that point, the staff and board recommendation was to accept land because there were no parks in the area. That is still the recommendation from staff, is to go ahead and accept this land. They are proposing to dedicate about 2.5 acres, which is a little bit short of the requirement, so they would be paying the rest of that in money in lieu. I think it's around like $5,800. I'm happy to answer questions on that one. I don't know, I can't remember who all has seen this before. It has been through a few times, but.
The last time that this came through, I remember, weren't we talking about a trail going to connect the northwest or
We
go
did.
right across the northwest portion of this?
Yes, and we've talked with Ross Coleman, and they're happy to look at trying to provide an easement that would come in on this northwest corner still. I talked with Matt, he said he thinks that's still the best option to get a trail through there. Another thing that we talked about with Ross Coleman is having them go in and do any cleanup on that parkland and assess any ice damage that might have occurred that could be hazardous. Go ahead and take care of that before they deed the land to us.
Are there any plans for, is Matt still here? No, I guess
No,
not.
he's-
Are there any, where are we with plans for, like, say, a trail down the West Fork of the White River? I know that's been in the past, and I've not been involved with it frequently, but the idea of trying to, come down the West Fork of the White, connect by RE, connect maybe this property, the edge of this, to lead on down toward Lake Sequoia for an access.
It's still in the master plan. It's
Okay.
not high on the priority list at this point, but.
I wonder if there's anything that could be worked out with, I mean, the property comes close to, but it still looks like it's got some gaps as far as to be able to get to a road. What I'm thinking is if you're living in that neighborhood, you'd have to come out, like say a kid riding bikes, to come out, get on the Huntsville Road, and go all the way around to go down to the lake to go fishing. If there's a way to help or encourage a connection to that road that comes, was it Harvey Isle? Is that what that road is, or anything else?
The road to the Northern Murphy Road, is that what you're talking
Yeah, the road to the east.
about?
Norman Murphy, okay, that's where the new bridge is built now, right?
Here.
Yeah, go to West Fork of the White.
I don't know, Wade.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, here.
Right.
This
That's-
bridge.
That's a
Yes,
brand new bridge.
Yes, yep.
Of course, and it's on, we're still ways off, we don't, to try to connect to that road. Okay. That'd be a potential maybe trail connection, you know, and access to take off the back end of that,
Yep.
the north end of the subdivision to then take a trail down to Norman Murphy.
Mhm.
Once you're there, then you can ride around and come up Norman Murphy Lake Sequoia.
Yeah, we looked at a couple of options in that area as well, and that may ultimately be the route that he goes, but he wants to leave the option in there to connect to that northwest corner, because the trail is actually planned on the north side
Okay.
of that West Fork.
Oh, we're still west from River too?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they've got a field, that's it now.
The road's already in this development, pretty much.
Yeah.
ready to go.
We would be leaving that as a natural area. We don't have plans to make that a developed neighborhood park, and we discussed that with Rush Coleman, and they're fine with that.
Say that again.
The park land that they're proposing to dedicate, we would leave that as a natural area and not necessarily develop it as a traditional neighborhood park. I mean, potentially nature trails or footpaths or something, but not planning on playground equipment, pavilions, that type of thing.
Now, this piece of property, I mean, we saw the pond. I mean, how do y'all usually, does the park department usually handle ponds? I mean, is there,
The pond won't be part of the parkland. That's going to remain property of the developer, or the property owner association. That's this section here. So the parkland is this dark shaded area, and then, whoops. This would be tree preservation area to meet those requirements.
Is that a retention pond that's in the top right-hand corner?
It's an old quarry, actually, but yeah, it's also
Will it be used for-
serving as their.
Okay, gotcha.
And the tree preservation area is not part of the dedication.
No, it's a separate requirement.
So that'll remain with either the developer or the POA, or
Mhm.
that works out. How would they access that without going through the park?
Yeah, that's something that we need to look at, this corner, because right now there is no access to it. But they'll need to be able to access it in some way in case they have to get in there, remove a fallen tree or whatever.
Do we ever give easements across a portion of the parkland for a landowner to get, or a property owner
We
association
have
to get back
before.
there?
Mhm.
And who do we have representatives of the developer? Okay. And this is, and you are agreeable to the staff's recommendation as well?
Yes, sir.
Let's say we don't want to develop the park now, can we come back later and develop the park? Or is that?
We usually listen to our neighbors, and at some point, if, we would have funding and a majority of the neighborhood wanted, we would entertain that. It would come back to Parks Board, it would be your decision if we wanted to someday develop it, if there was a need to.
So if that community at a later date was petitioning the board to do something out there?
Everything can change at some point in time, but, right now, we want it clear to the neighborhood that we don't have any funding, or we haven't designated funding in the near future for that. We want it to be clear to them, so they don't think that it's gonna be a park with playground and everything.
and it seems like when we reviewed this last time that we kind of put that piece of property there because as the developments from the northeast portion of it came in, that it might develop into a larger piece of property that we could develop into a park, is that right?
There is that possibility. That's called raw land.
And we do have street access to the parkland, looks like.
Yes, we do.
Great.
This one's a little bit different because we did change our half mile to the 1 mile radius, so.
It's over a half mile to the lake.
It's less than a mile radius. It's over a half mile, but less than a mile.
Got the kids with a bicycle and fishing poles in, either in Harvey.
So from the standpoint of how it's going to be maintained and expected utilization, it's just going to be pretty raw.
We have other parkland that's set up the same way.
It's just small acreage in comparison.
Mhm. Actually, one of the parks mentioned previously, the village at Shiloh Parkland, it's a wooded hillside, fairly small acres, maybe 3 or so acres. Same thing as Stone Mountain.
Key things are not getting tied into having to maintain it right off the bat.
Right.
And you know, someday in the future, when the transportation trail gets in, it might be at that point in time that we see that, you know, this area might be a good trailhead, or, you know, that we might want to put something in as kind of a pavilion or something that's on the way to Lake Sequoia. So it kind of leaves it open for that.
I think that's great, because it gives you a lot of options for the future. At the same time, we're not having to spend money maintaining it. So I'm in favor of, I move that we accept it.
Second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Passes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Next part-time vacation is townhomes at Forest Hills.
This is one that has also been here before. It's been a while. It was part of a larger PPD mixed-use development, and this is the residential portion of that. And it is located south of Weddington and west of I-540. It's just south where the neighborhood market is in Forest Hills. Morris and Shipley is doing the reading on this, and Sammy is here with Morris and Shipley if you have questions about the development. It's in the southwest quadrant on about 31 acres. They're proposing 31 single-family homes. On about, the entire mixed-use development is 81 acres. This is just like a portion of it. The land dedication would be .713 acres, or the money new is $25,520. We do have Dale Clark Park and Village of Shiloh Parkland and Bryce Davis all within the mile service area. So staff is recommending money in lieu, and the developer is also requesting money in lieu for this development.
Boys and Girls Club right there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the Dale Clark Park here, and this is Boys and Girls Club.
The city leases our 8 acres of Dale Clark Park to the Boys and Girls Club.
So you're actually putting houses on that street? That's already this, okay.
On for sale.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, if there's no discussion, I'll make a recommendation we accept staff's recommendation.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And next up, we have the regional park update.
What were you doing the last time I was here?
Getting closer.
That's what you always told me.
I know.
We are working with Lowson Associates now on the final master plan. They should have a concept to us in the next couple of weeks. They're kind of fleshing out what it's going to take once they start looking at the grading in detail and all the parking required. So we should have something on it soon to look at and hopefully forward on.
Is that just going to be phase 1 or all phases?
They're doing a plan for the whole park, and then they'll come back, once we kind of get that dialed in, they'll come back and do construction drawings for phase 1.
Any word on that last baseball field that we're trying to get? Because we have money for 3, right?
3 right now. And they're gonna be looking at that. When we get the read back from it, they're gonna get the cost estimates, so we'll see where we're at, what we're buying.
And when did you say we expect their first piece of work?
In the next couple weeks. Yep.
Breaking ground when?
By the end of this year.
Is there any update on the work being done on the landfill?
Yes, they are actually having a pre-bid meeting tomorrow up at the landfill, so ADQ will be in town, and all the contractors who are looking at bidding the work will be here looking at it.
This is to recap it?
Mm-hmm.
Thought we already got that done. Nope.
No, we've
Talked
been
about
waiting
it.
for a long time.
Talked about it.
I assume they cut the trees off of that to recap it?
They'll have to.
Yeah. And what are the plans for that? Before we talk about like a parking lot shed, what are the plans?
Well, they pretty much tell us what we can do with that property, and we're kind of waiting on, I guess, the final say from them, what we can do.
So they put red dirt on top of it?
Yeah.
They'll
How
put a
much?
clay top.
You know?
How much clay?
Yeah.
18 inches at least, and then the hot fill on top of that.
I think it'd be a good parking lot. But they didn't get to do that.
Well, the plan is just to have it as open grassland, isn't it?
Yeah, they want it maintained as basically a meadow, so we'll have to keep the trees and stuff growing on top.
We had some responsibilities that we're getting over $2 million worth of whatever comes in our project from the grant.
So what is this that they're working on? I thought we already had a plan. What are they working on?
They,
Lawson?
Lawson Associates, yeah, they're just refining the concept plan. I mean, what we have is our idea of what we want the park to look like, but once you start looking at grading and drainage and all of those things in detail, then it's, likely to change a little bit. So they're doing that fine detail work.
They've been doing the soil analysis and the geotech. They got a little put behind because of the ice and ground was a little solid.
Oh, really?
To go there into, so we're waiting on those results, which could make a big difference one way or the other.
And back to the landfill, the question I had was the funding that's for that. Does it cover basically whatever these bids come in? There's not an opportunity for that to end up being above what the funding would be? I guess what I'm asking is one of those a finite number and the other one's not yet? Like if the funding's $1 million and then
Right.
these bids tomorrow
Yeah.
start coming in at $1.2 million or something?
It's a post-closure trust fund grant. We're the first city within the state of Arkansas that has been awarded this grant. The feds give them so much money to ADEQ to disperse that money. So we're the first ones to utilize it in this manner.
Okay.
They haven't,
Does that have a dollar amount attached to it? Or is it just whatever it takes?
I think they have an estimate.
they had an
over-
estimated cost for the work of our landfill. I mean, they're also looking at other landfills that they have work to do on. I don't know that they cap how much money our landfill can use out of that fund. I'm not sure, but I think I could ask them.
So it's a process that once we get bids in, then we turn those bids over to them and let them know what the cost is, and then they decide how much.
They do it all.
They do it all?
We're kind of out of it.
Oh.
The
So
city
the assumption is they're gonna cover all the expenses?
Yes.
City won't be responsible for any of it.
Exactly.
This is the best time.
Yeah. It's a good deal.
Yeah, parkland area.
See, and this is something that we did, I know Wade heard us talk about it for how many years, I mean, way back in the very beginning, was to see if we would be able to qualify. We had to apply for those trust funds, and we did that way back in, 2000,
4 and 5.
4 or 5.
What we want to do is, you think of this, we're going to mow this thing, it's going to have topsoil on it, wouldn't this be a great soccer field, but we can't use it for that apparently. I don't know if that's changed, because that was the first thing, well, obviously it's not good to park cars on, because it's going to be on sale, but.
They've done a lot of studies on it, so, they'll be the ones that can tell us what we're allowed to do on it, and not, they'll be,
Might make a good dog park.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where is this golf course?
It's not, yeah. But you can't put anything into that would come to that
You can have a pedestal.
pedestal.
We need to name it something cool, like Area 57 or something. You know, it'd be a tourist site.
Yeah.
Make up a story about it.
That's out in Springer.
We could have Rome.
That's a whole nother.
And we got some pointed emails and articles about transportation to the park. Have we begun to address that?
About the,
Trails?
the trails to the park. Yeah, it's coming in off, according to Matt, it's coming in off of Cable Springs. And
All along the roadway.
I believe a long way, is it a long way? No,
It
it's
follows
through
Cable Springs branch.
Cable Springs branch.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so it'll follow Creek.
So it'll come not too far from this last project that we just looked at, the one south of MLK. It'll have a route,
Beechwood.
yeah, from Beechwood
There,
area.
tunnel under 540?
It'll probably go
I
under
think
the
that is
overpass
still
at
into
Cable
question
Springs.
what he's doing. I don't think he's decided what he's doing exactly.
We accepted some land a while back
Mm-hmm.
along a creek corridor that Matt said would be ideal for getting to the regional park.
Yes,
Mhm.
he's working on those easements.
Okay.
He's got a few more to go. And I
And
think
that's,
he's still trying to decide exactly how to go under.
that's kind of by the engineering part. That's kind of the route that we're looking at right now, is by the engineering department. What it's called. U of A engineering.
Oh, engineering
thing.
south.
It's in south.
We'll get that info from you for next meeting. How about that? We can have Matt report on that. He's ready for that.
No other business?
I do have one thing that I forgot to put on the agenda, and that is to see if, and we can wait till next meeting. We have two appointments that our Parks Board are required to be on. One is the Alternative Transportation, Active Transportation Advisory Committee, and the other one is the Botanical Gardens of the Ozark. So we need to have an appointee. John Paul is the one to our trail system, and right now David Prophet is our representative on the Botanical Garden Committee. So we need to decide if you want them to stay on, or if someone wants to rotate, if they're tired of being on it or what. Those are two requirements that we need to. Oh. They meet every other month on the, what, Thursday?
On Tuesday.
Or Tuesday?
I think it's the third Tuesday of the month.
Of every other month. Is it even or odd?
Starts in January, so.
On. So I'll put that on the agenda for next time.
Is this a vending ordinance?
I think he's fixing trouble being able to attend this, how he would like.
When do they meet?
The Botanical Gardens, they meet in the evening at 6 o'clock or 6:30?
Yeah, it's 5:30.
Or 5:30.
About this time?
Yeah.
Byron is our staff representative
Right.
on that board. They usually do just.
What's happening? What are they saying?
They just go over different reports of what's currently going on. Mainly they're focused on the fundraising aspects of it, that type of thing, the greening of the garden, everything coming up, and then their different fundraising events. So, but then they also address, the other issues. The lease is, of course, one that's coming up. But
I've been getting lots of questions from people.
And we are meeting, according to the lease agreement, park staff, we are to have an annual meeting with them. We have that set for the end of January. So, we'll hopefully have a
Is this going to be the proposal that we thought we were going to get over the summer?
we're talking about what the lease says that we must do, the current lease. We're going over those objectives. They did want to talk a little bit about their recommendations for edits on the lease. So that's what, there's something else. I think that was pretty much
Yeah,
it.
that's the main thing. The last word we got, they hired an attorney to negotiate the lease. And so that's really all we know. I haven't been contacted by them with regards to the lease, so.
When does it mature?
Oh, it's for another
75 years.
75 years or so.
25-year lease, and there's what, three?
Three renewals?
Three renewals.
Three renewals.
It was approved in, I think, 2003.
Something like that. The initial, so, but they've already asked in the initial 25, there's already been, this is the third or the fourth lease.
Oh,
Amendment.
Amendment.
So they're asking to amend it midterm.
Yeah.
yeah. And that's what the lease agreement says. As we go through this process, since no one knows exactly how the Botanical Gardens will develop, that we will annually review the lease agreement with them and make changes as need be. Is what the lease agreement says. I can send that lease agreement to you all again if you'd like to have a copy of it for your file. No.
How many pages is it?
They may want
quite
to
a few.
they may want to catch
Yeah.
up on it, but.
Yeah, I'd like to give status of the, obviously being new here, I don't know what
Yeah.
current status of what we had last summer, as far as, I don't want to call it a conflict, but disagreement between the bike trail and the Botanical Garden. So what is the current status of that?
We are still waiting on that.
Okay.
An agreement hasn't been reached yet, and I think they're still gathering information. The Botanical Gardens Board is still gathering information to solidify their master plan, and then they want to also change the lease agreement, also recommend some changes. That will come before Parks Board for your recommendation, and then it will go back to City Council for final recommendation on the agreement.
They did send, we usually give a report after each board meeting, which the next board meeting is a week tomorrow night. But they did send a January update. I don't know if we got that in the packet or not, but we can email that to you guys.
Okay.
Doesn't involve the lease questions much, but it just gives you information about the participants and their fundraising activities and who's coming to the garden, different. So it's a good report. We can email that to you guys.
And a lot of this we'll be talking about in our orientation. We do have a back page.
Yeah, I saw that.
I couldn't have amended.
Yeah. There's nothing else on that, the vending ordinance proposal?
Allison, you want to talk about that?
Sure. Well, I'm not sure if it's planning or strategic planning and sustainability are proposing to allow mobile vendors on certain public properties, in addition to private properties where they're already allowed, and most of these are food vendors, food trucks. So that will also affect what can happen in the parks. Right now, our ordinance says that there's no vending and peddling in our parks unless it's an annual event by a nonprofit or permitted by Parks and Rec, I think. So this would allow them to come in and do what they're calling bumping. So a food truck could come in, park, set up, and be there for 2 hours serving food, and then they would have to move on and go to the next place. So that would be allowed on certain public properties, and the way they're currently defining that is along marked parallel spaces. So that would include like areas on Dixon Street, Dixon Side Street, Town Square, in addition to our parks. And they have it was discussed at Planning Commission, I guess before the holidays, and there were still some details that they were trying to work out. So it's not totally done. It's actually going to be on the January, I think it's 21st, City Council meeting. So it'll be an agenda session tomorrow night.
Are they single-use permits, and then to be able to
They're talking about annual, so they would actually permit the truck on an annual basis, and the current proposal is gonna offer, I think it is 4 permits for the first year to kind of see how it goes. And staff would come back with a report to the council and tell them how how it was received, if there were any complaints, issues, concerns, and then they might open up more permits for additional food trucks.
Who would be responsible for issuing the permits?
Planning, developer.
How many requests would we get from these, like, how many vendors would be requesting for these permits? How are we determining which
We're not
4
sure
get
yet.
permits?
There would be a lottery. They're talking about having a lottery for the 3 or 4 vendors that they would allow for the first year to see how it goes, and then they would open it up. They would have to meet all health department regulations. That's a concern of all of us, is to make certain our people get good food. There will be some, we had talked about there'd be some, some places that maybe have concession stands that they might not be allowed. I think that's still in the that our concession stand areas, they would not be allowed to come in unless we gave them permission to do so.
So like a baseball night on Tuesday night at least.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to come and park parallel by the concession stand or by any of ours. The regional park, once we get it involved, it might be very nice, particularly if we have a huge regional tournament of some sort there, that we can have some vendors come in and feed our people. So,
Nothing like a big truck taco and some Little League baseball.
that's right. I think Indian taco is the #1 food that concessions sell.
Indian taco.
Indian taco.
So what are we doing now when we say we have the park series, the park concert series? Because I know there's vendors that go to that.
We have permits that they are sponsors for it. And I can let Atlas, you want to?
Yeah, that's specific in the ordinance along with just annual approved events, so there's really just a handful of events that are permitted right now.
So it's something we're already doing, we're just allowing it to be in a truck and they can just kind of show up when they want to.
Now you know why the ice cream truck keeps moving around in circles. And if he ever stops one place, I know somebody's gonna shoot him. They hate that music.
Well, they're not supposed to go inside the Wilson Park.
It's circling. One of our neighbors, he's gonna kill him.
Is this something that we need, like, is this something that we need to know about, or is this something that we're gonna make input on, or what?
We'll take any input that you all would have on it. If you've got some
We won't be
things
voting on it though, it sounds like.
It really
No.
feels planning.
Yeah, it's kind of going through the planning office, and we wanted to make certain that the regional park particularly would be able to have some kind of vending, and we thought it would be best that, since they are gonna have kind of a trial period to see how it goes, kind of be in it from the very beginning to see how, I don't know how many parks it will affect, because it is for parallel parking.
That won't apply to the park.
No, yeah, okay, just the streets by the park.
I would encourage more than 4 permits on the trial basis.
We talked about that, they said they don't anticipate getting even, I don't even think more than 4, I think they know of 2 or 3 in the area.
Mhm.
So I think that's why that number was sort of picked.
Mhm.
And that's not set in stone.
Is there a cost involved with the permit?
They're discussing different ways, either a flat fee or a bid process, so nothing.
Any of that money gonna come to parks?
No.
Well, the
HMR.
HMR.
HMR will.
Yeah.
They'll all have to pay, submit their HMR.
You know, I could see that really being handy, especially think about soccer tournaments on Saturday morning, and everybody's running around, they go there and there's a vendor there, it'd be handy.
I think it's a better way to serve our constituents, our concession stands, as long as we don't have the same
Yeah, that's
thing.
right, we've got concession stands there,
And it doesn't look like it would be a loss of HMR revenue, it's not like you're probably increase it, it'd probably be an incremental increase.
And particularly, once we get the regional parking can attract the larger tournaments, then,
It's an added benefit to be able to sell those tournaments.
Mhm.
Do you have any cautions, Byron, in particular?
With the mobile food truck?
Uh-huh.
No, I mean, the only thing we talked about is not competing with our concessionaires, so they're not showing up outside of baseball fields, but
Picking up the trash,
Yeah, I was
you
gonna,
know.
I mean, is that something we're gonna
No.
take care of?
No,
Or
I
they-
think that will be, that's supposed to be inside that.
They're gonna be required to submit a waste management plan when they get their permit.
nothing's on grass, everything has to stay on pavement, is another regulation.
That'd be awesome. I'd love to go hang out at Gully Park on a Saturday and have an Indian taco. You don't like Indian tacos?
We're all hungry.
All right, so moving on to orientation date for Parks and Rec. Did everybody bring their calendars? Is there days in particular that we have to do this before February 3rd?
We'd like to.
And where are we going to meet? Is it going to be at the Parks Department?
Either the Parks Department, it could be the library. I think last year we had the library. So it depends on if y'all want to meet at lunchtime and we feed you, or if you'd rather go in the evening.
How much time do you think we'll need?
An hour and a half, maybe.
Well, then you're letting them off easy. You made this go for a whole day.
I know it.
I liked the lunchtime meeting last time. This can be for me.
I'm gone at the end of January. A week.
How about the next week?
I'm out of town next week.
You're out of town next week. Okay. And we don't, there's nothing that says we have to have it done before our February. How about tomorrow?
Or,
Okay, February.
I'm off tomorrow.
I'm on call tomorrow, so that works out. I won't be working in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Prior to February 3rd, so.
We don't have to have it prior to go.
Oh, okay.
You know, ideally, we'd like to, but it sounds like.
Do it February 3rd and really get to know each other. Whole day.
what day is February 3rd?
Monday, it's our next meeting day.
Mm.
We could have it after our meeting, if you all would like. Just bring something to eat and then keep going.
Allison, what do you think of that?
You feel great.
Yeah.
Captured as anyway, that might not be a bad idea.
That may not be a bad idea, but
Yeah, I don't know if we have anything for February meeting. Do you know of anything?
Have not received any parkland.
Regional park update, definitely.
Could be a good time. We have a short meeting.
Get
Everybody.
vendor trucks to come by and feed us.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Let's see, it'll be a trial.
So we'll meet here and just kind of extend it a little bit?
We can do that.
Is there an issue? There's nothing going on at this place?
We have this room booked.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Taken care of.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, now on the books, how many of you all would like a hard copy, and how many of you would like just an online copy of it? You know, it's pretty thick.
I would like an online copy.
I have one copy from last year.
We can update it.
Yeah,
You want it updated?
that's fine. I mean, I can take it online and probably update it myself, or be fine. I'll just take it offline.
Okay.
Online.
Carry it's online?
Online for me as well.
Online?
Guess I'm a bad person if I get a book. huh?
No, you can have a book.
I know Melanie's looking at me kind of going, take it.
No, do you still have your old book?
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
We'll recycle that way.
Just do it online, because I don't, that's.
Oh, you don't want to?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't mind. Then we'll find out from David. So,
Everybody's online, but wait.
yeah.
No, do it online. too.
Oh, he's gonna do it online. Sure.
Yeah, I need to be stretched a little bit, that's good. I agree.
Okay.
So I just, yeah, I still have the other book.
Just find out from David. Okay.
I have another business item, just an announcement more than anything. Brad Wimberly, who owns Turner Bend on the Mulberry River, and rents canoes in the store there, he's been awarded the Envy Award, which is an environmental advocacy award by the state of Arkansas. And there's going to be a luncheon for him this Thursday at 11:30 at the Washington County Extension Office. And it's free, and I know Brad has done, you all don't know him, he's a super guy. I've known him since he was in college here. He's done a tremendous amount of work on the Mulberry River, organizing the cleanup that they do every year now for 30 years. And so I'm going to go to encourage, to support him. It's 11:30 Thursday at the Washington County Extension Office. They need to know if you're coming, and I have the number of the person in my office. I didn't bring it with me. feel free to call me, or you can have the email, any bill before, before noon on Wednesday, I think. But, I know a lot of you probably know Brad, he's a super guy.
Great, we have a lot of great people in our city, that's always.
But he's actually even, he's from Ozark. This place, he lives down on the Mulberry River. That's neat.
Any other business? Anyone would like to-
I know Steve Snyder's here, and I think we announced last year that the city of Fayetteville is a member of INBA, the International Mountain Bike Association, so we're a very proud member of them. So if I haven't said it, I plugged it in again, and for the two new people at least, you know that, we're proud members.
I did have a question that could be considered other business. I wasn't here, I wasn't on the committee at the time, but I did hear about a RC car park at the old BMX track at Walker Park.
Mm-hmm.
What's the status of that?
Well, they came, gave a great presentation, handed out notebooks. We went to, move it from the bicycle one, and we couldn't find it. So
They
we
just kind of disappeared.
They disappeared.
Well, I went down there and it's just kind of slicked off.
Yeah, they took all the dirt off.
And I know that the cement BMX skate park is there next door to it. Has there been have we been asked by anyone to put the dirt BMX track back?
No. Have you heard of it?
No, the BMX club came to us, and they were, pretty much all their members were going to Lowell to ride, and they weren't using it anymore. They were actually the ones that maintained that track.
Yeah.
And so they actually are the ones that introduced us to the RC guys, because they were wanting to get rid of it, not maintain it anymore, and the RC guys were kind of wanting to take it on. But so we were glad to get rid of the track because we couldn't maintain it.
It was in pretty poor condition.
Yeah.
Because I rode my bike on it.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
But it just seems like there would be enough people here that would want that.
It did.
It's kind of disappointing they don't want the dirt portion of it.
They used to have the races and everything there.
And their answer is they just want to go to Lowell.
They wanted to go to Lowell.
The BMX.
BMX people. So it's still available as an RC.
Well, no, because we took off, they were gonna utilize the dirt that was there. We've taken.
Right now, we're just utilizing it as a green space and an overflow for soccer pickup games. Because it's just, we just smoothed it off and kind of crowned it and seeded it.
Right. Okay, so the option for the RC folks is off the table now?
Yeah, we tried to get a hold of them. And
Yeah.
over a very lengthy time. I don't know how long it was, but.
Yeah. I mean, if a group came and wanted to present an idea, I mean, they're not like blackballed or anything, but the interest is gone, I guess, 'cause.
Right. So the dirt that was there, did we use that for another project?
Yeah, we just hauled it off and it's just field material. We've got it stockpiled.
Stockpiled, okay.
Yeah.
So if another BMX group comes back and we decide to do that, they would be able to get some dirt brought in from that stockpile? Okay.
Yeah, when we initially built that, actually, we did receive grant money to, the BMX Association actually built it for us.
So that dirt's worth money now.
Okay.
Yeah, we did say that.
Are there more
Curious
trails?
what was going on.
Are there more trails down Walker Park now? In the wooded area, is there trails to be cleared out? Is that what's on there?
Yeah.
No, they're about halfway done. The way the layout was gonna be is the parking lot to the BMX skate park area, former BMX skate park. Just directly east of that parking lot is where hole 1 would start, and then ultimately hole 18 would end there. And so they've
Where's
got.
the country club gonna be?
Yeah, not sure yet. Maybe where the old BMX track is. But they've, north of the Walker Senior Center, they've got all of those holes clear, all the property, and they've just now moved south of that area, so they've got it roughed in about halfway.
I think the back nine though is gonna fly by compared to the
Right,
front.
be a little shorter.
You know, that group has worked really hard. I mean, they have got all that junk out, and we haul it off for them, but it's still amazing.
What's our chain gang?
Yeah, yeah.
Who's
Started
that?
called chain gang.
I think the senior center needs a beer permit, they'll be in business now. Think about how much money they could raise on that, good to go.
Well, this is supposed to be a unique course, you know, that's in the woods.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Hopefully the senior citizens will start playing.
And it's,
That would be.
that's part of the park though, right?
Mhm.
It's part of Walker Park?
Yes.
What's the deal with the senior citizens?
They have,
Kind of part
the
of the
city
city.
actually owns the senior citizens, the Walker Park Senior Activity and Wellness Center is what it's called. We give them, it just went up almost $70,000 a year to run programs for the senior citizens. And we have the building leased out to the Council on Aging and the Northwest Arkansas Economic Development Center. We have a contract with them to run programs for us. The Meals on Wheels goes through there, that feeds Washington County. Our money is only for recreational activities. Eating, we don't see it as, it's not really considered a recreational activity.
So how does the disc golf course tie back into the senior citizens?
It's just around,
next to
Oh, it's
it.
just
surrounds
neighbors.
it. Uh-huh.
It's a neat building.
Mhm.
They're really neat
Beautiful
building.
building.
Any more new business, other business? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Sure.
All right.